Let's go ahead and get a look at our top stories this morning. A Minneapolis teacher voicing struggles his school and students have had to face as it sits next to a now closed homeless encampment.
Without empathy, but it has been a shadow that's been looming over us.
A mass shooting late Monday night left 7 people hurt and a bullet hole in a window at Universal Academy Charter School. There's been a battle over the encampment for nearly 2 months.
Let's show you that camp's location. It was on East Lake Street and 28th Avenue South, next to the school. After months of battles, the city of Minneapolis yesterday cleared out that encampment. This back and forth battle is between property owner Hamoudi Sabri and the city of Minneapolis. Sabri says letting people stay on his property is a solution to homelessness. The city calls it unsafe and unsanitary, especially next to a school. Teachers say they've collected dirty needles and other drug paraphernalia in and around the school's playground. As for the 70 or so people living at that encampment, the city says its team has been there daily trying to provide people with access to shelter and treatment. Sabri, however, contends the city still is not doing enough.
I'm not here to fight. Do you understand? This is not a fight with me. This is a humanitarian deal. And I have no idea what the fight is. I mean, I have a right to open the camp again, as far as I'm concerned.
This is simply not a strategy that works. It is not safe. Our obligation is clear. Help people transition into safer, healthier alternatives, not allow them to languish in conditions that guarantee the kind of tragedy that we just saw.
Regulatory Services Director Enrique Velasquez says all but one person denied offers for shelter. And here's the issue. Since being cleared, which is happening right there, the encampment has moved only a block away. City officials say the next steps include obtaining a temporary restraining order possibly as early as today. We should note police have not made any arrests in the encampment shooting from Monday.
North suburban voters have chosen a replacement for former DFL House Leader Melissa Hortman, who was killed in her home this summer. DFLer XP Lee won Tuesday's special election over Republican candidate Ruth Bittner. The win keeps the House chamber at an even split. Lee will now represent the district covering parts of Brooklyn Park, Champlin, and Coon Rapids. He'll be filling the seat of former DFLer House Speaker Melissa Hortman, who represented that area for 2 decades. Hortman and her husband, Mark, were killed 3 months ago in what prosecutors called a politically motivated attack.
After weeks of hinting, the governor announced he is ready to run for a 3rd term.
I've always tried to do what's right for Minnesota, and I'll never stop fighting to protect us from the chaos, corruption, and cruelty coming out of Washington. Now I'm hitting the road to listen to you and talk about our future. I'll see you out there.
Governor Walz posted that social media video yesterday morning. He did not announce who his running mate will be, as Peggy Flanagan is now running for the Tina Smith Senate seat. We should point out no Minnesota governor has ever served 3 consecutive terms, even though there are no term limits. And several Republicans have announced they are already in the bid for Minnesota's governor. That includes former GOP nominee Scott Jensen, Representative Kristen Robbins, and Kendall Qualls.
It's a big week for Minnesota's cannabis industry. Yeah. Several dispensaries are starting to sell recreational marijuana today.
This has been a process 2 years in the making. Our Barrett Leone joins us live outside one of those news stores in Eagan. Barrett, as I mentioned before, this has been a long process. There's been several delays here. So what are businesses expecting today?
Yeah, it's certainly been such a journey to get to this point. Really a historic week today. For the first time, recreational weed will be sold at non-tribal dispensaries here in the state, across the Twin Cities. Rise is one of them here in Eagan, but there's a total of Rise locations in the metro that you can now buy recreational marijuana at. Now, Rise will be selling recreational cannabis in several locations across the Twin Cities, including Brooklyn Park and New Hope. State regulators say the move expands safe access to cannabis while setting the stage for more licensed shops around Minnesota to open. Rise, by the way, is not the first non-tribal shop to open. That title belongs to Legacy Cannabis, which opened its doors in downtown Duluth yesterday.
Great. I didn't think I was going to be second, but that's a good place to be. It is a positive step forward for the community. People need to be able to have safe access to pot, and they need to know what they're buying.
And Legacy Cannabis plans to open a location in the Twin Cities in the coming months, but state officials, they say that packaging is key to a safe rollout of recreational weed, and we're going to break down what that looks like coming up in the next half hour.
All right, thanks so much, Barrett.
And today on The Four, Amelia and Aaron will speak with the executive director of the Office of Cannabis Management. He'll talk about where things stand with a number of issues regarding legal marijuana in the state of Minnesota.
Tyler Robinson, the man authorities believe shot and killed conservative commentator Charlie Kirk last week, made his first court appearance. Robinson is charged with aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, along with witness tampering and committing a violent offense in the presence of a child. Prosecuting attorneys confirmed they are seeking the death penalty. Officials read messages exchanged between Robinson and his roommate during a press conference. One of the texts directed the roommate to find a note saying, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Kirk's public funeral is happening this Sunday at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Here in Minnesota, a candlelight vigil is happening tonight to remember Kirk. That's happening at Delano Central Park at 7:30 tonight. Another is happening at the Lakefront Park Bandshell in Hudson at 6 o'clock. Eden Prairie will have a vigil at Round Lake Park Pavilion at 7 o'clock.
FBI Director Kash Patel will be back at the U.S. Capitol today after clashing with lawmakers during a hearing yesterday. Patel visited the crime scene of Charlie Kirk's killing last week, and he spent yesterday defending his handling of the case, including a social media post which he touted the subject was in custody, who later ended up being released.
That he violated one of the basics of effective law enforcement. At critical stages of an investigation, shut up and let the professionals do their job.
I don't see it as a mistake. I see it as something working with the public to identify that there was a subject.
Face questions from both sides of the aisle about what some called politically motivated widespread firings at the agency and the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. He faces more questioning on Capitol Hill today.